Hey everyone, it's Ekena here. And I wanted to talk to you today about copycats, competition, and being iconic. You know, I think if we're really honest with ourselves, it is irritating when people copy us. I want you to go right back to childhood. Do you remember if you had a little sister like I did? I have two. If you had a little sister that was close to you in age, there probably was a time in your life when your little sister kind of copied everything you did. In fact, not even just a little sister, like a sibling. If you watched little kids, you will see at some point there will be a fight that breaks out, and one kid is going to say, "Mom, so and so is copying me. Stop copying me, you copycatter." Right? Something along those lines. Yeah. So it's irritating when people copy us, and it doesn't stop being irritating when we become adults. You know, they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, perhaps in day-to-day life. But when you are a business owner, when you are a creator, like a content creator, when you are doing things, it can be annoying. It can be irritating, and sometimes it can be damaging to your business. It can. And so it is something that brings up a lot of emotions. And I have people ask me all the time, what do I do? What should we do? You know, and I thought it would be a good time to have this conversation around dealing with copycats. When people copy, why do people copy? When is copying competition? When is it not? How to handle it, etc., 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 and how being iconic factors into the mix. Yeah? So let's get into it really quickly, hopefully, quickly. Maybe not so quickly. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. So this is the thing. I already talked about copying is nothing new. When people admire you, it's almost natural that they start to copy you knowingly or unknowingly, right? So that's why people say imitation is the highest form of flattery, because it typically comes from admiration. Nobody copies what they don't think is good. So the first thing is, if people are copying you, I want you to get excited, because it means that you are doing something right. Nobody would copy something that is poorly done or that isn't fun or isn't great. No one is copying the worst. No sensible person anyway, right? So you want to get excited because it validates that what you're doing has value. Okay? That's the first thing. But then let's really be honest about the irritation that comes along with it. Feel the feeling, but let it pass. Don't let it settle into a place of offense. Let me tell you why. Because when you are someone, especially if you're copied often, and I'm not saying this because I'm not copied. I am copied often. Like I was talking to someone, and this is with no arrogance, I'm just being straight up, that I was saying to someone that when I announce that I'm going to do this, I want you to watch and see. Like 4 other people. In fact, I know some people. I see you, right? They follow your lead, right? They follow your lead. And I said to myself, listen, you've just got to make peace with this, that you are a trailblazer. You are a trendsetter. So if people copy you a lot, like you do this and they go do that in their business, or you set up something this way and they go do that, and you do, whatever it is, then just accept that you are a trailblazer, you are a trendsetter. And when you blaze a trail, yes, it can be annoying because nobody knows the cost of blazing the trail. Like, you go before everyone else. You take the risk. You even maybe take the hit when it doesn't work, because sometimes it's not going to work. But you do the work. You do the work to become this person, to launch whatever initiative it is, and then someone comes behind you and you just kind of walk the trail. But that's what happens. Trailblazers are the courageous, iconic, original people that create paths where there weren't any previously, and then other people walk on the path or the trail. That's just the reality. And so I want you to shift your perspective and get excited and say, yeah, I'm a trailblazer. Right? Tell yourself that. And let me tell you why it's so key for you to tell yourself that. Instead of getting mad when people do it, tell yourself that, get connected to that, because that's actually what it is, because that means there is the creation energy is in there. You're creative, you're innovative. When you keep telling yourself you're a trailblazer, right? When you keep acknowledging that within you, guess what happens? More comes. More comes. There's more where that came from. When someone copies your idea, I want you to get excited and say, oh, that's not even my best idea. There's more where that came from. That's what I want you to do, because it's going to help you. But when you allow yourself to settle into a fence, then you shift your energy to a negative place, and it actually limits your ability to create more. Relax, open up, expand, because there's truly more where that came from. That's the first thing. And understand that someone copying you does not necessarily mean that they can compete with you. If they can compete with you, then what it means is that you have to go deeper within yourself. Because if they can compete with you, it means that you have not really leaned into what I call your iconic factors and what will set you apart so far that nobody can duplicate you. People can copy what you do, but they cannot be you. If you are so deeply connected to yourself and your unique value proposition and your iconic factors, like people do retreats. I do retreats. I've been doing retreats for years. In fact, when I first did my first retreat, back in 2013 was my very first one. And I conceptualized it. I always ask myself, anyone that knows me knows I don't like to be like anyone else. I really don't. It's a big issue for me. That's just how I've always been, right? When I first conceptualized it, first of all, retreats weren't very popular then. But I said, what is the thing that's important to me? What do I really want? And I leaned into myself. So I know a couple of things about myself, right? For example, I'm a kinesthetic learner. There are a number of different modalities of learning, right? Some people are audio, some people are visual, and there are others like myself who are kinesthetic. We learn by doing. And so because I'm kinesthetic, experiences are very important to me. And so when I was designing, I'm like, we need to add some experiences into this thing, because I can teach, we can talk, we can work through things, but there is nothing like feeling a thing in your body to shift you. And so my very first retreat, I had the ladies that came on that retreat. You guys remember, those of you that were there, because I've had now, 9 or 10? 9. There's going to be a 9th one. But I've also, those are the retreats, but I've had over 50 live in-person experiences, and each of them is highly experiential. But those of you that were at the first weekend retreat, we were in Palm Beach, Florida. You will remember that I took you out on the ocean and I had you jump in because we went snorkeling, and it was amazing, the shifts that happened. And that is one of the hallmarks of our retreat. Now, I've literally shared things with people. I've had conversations with people, and they go and do it. They go do exactly the same thing. They see that I've done it, or whatever the case is. And guess what? I'm not mad. Why? There's more where that came from. I design, and for the most part, when I'm done with something, I'm done. I move it on. You can pick it up if you want to. We're on to the next. Something new is coming. We're excited. And I get a divine download for everything that we're doing. Like, we're doing something in Ghana, and we have already, right, there's new downloads shifting. Now, the things I've announced, I've already seen a few key people picking up a few things from the things I've announced. Go ahead, take it, go for it. I love it. That's what blazing a trail means. People walk on the trail. I'm a trailblazer. Some people walk on trails. That's okay. right? So, hey, but I assure you, those people that are coming to Ghana, because every piece is so highly intentional, when you get there, no one can do it like you do it. I've had people pick up the design of my thing, like the look and the feel, but they get the look, but it doesn't have the feel. That's because it's so deeply thought through from a place of iconicness. And that's what I really want you to think about. Just because someone copies you does not mean they can compete with you. If people are competing with you, it means you have not yet fully discovered the things that make you you. And that's what we do. You might need to call me. You might need to call me so that I can help you go deeper into yourself. And this is as a woman, this is as a business owner, this is in corporate, whatever it is. You have to have deep clarity on your unique value proposition. I tell women, even in how you present yourself, like you can be inspired by how she looks and how she looks and all of that. But please don't try to be a carbon copy, because what will happen is what sets you apart, you're like everyone else. And in fact, when you try to copy people, you end up being a poor imitation. You've heard that. And it's true. People that copy people is because they don't know who they are, or they don't have the courage or the confidence to be who they are. They are so busy picking apart other people's things and putting it on, right? They're cosplaying authenticity. They don't know. But when you know who you are, let me tell you, you are untouchable. You can walk into a room and own the room, hold the room, command attention, and you are not the norm. Not the norm. Like I can walk into a room now, right? When I want to turn it on. I'm not a size 6, and I may not fall into whatever Eurocentric, ideals, but when I walk into a room and I want to own it, okay? Yeah, that's not my African, I have all these little things. But I enjoy who I am, and you should too. And when you do, it allows you to really, you can even do that if you wanted to, but you cannot duplicate it. You can't, the whole experience of me, impossible. Impossible. This is why you have to really know yourself 100% and go deep into who you are. It will change your life. So don't worry about people copying you. Don't worry about it. That just happens as part of the process when you're an innovator, when you're a creator. It happens. Don't worry about people competing with you. They can't compete with you when you really know who you are. But I am going to say this final thing before I close. You do have to get clear on what is content and stuff that is available to everybody else, that trailblazing stuff, and then what is intellectual property. Whatever your intellectual property is, those are the things that create assets in your business or your way of being that are highly valuable that you should protect. You should have some IP. If you're a business owner and you have never talked to a lawyer or thought about protecting something, it means that you are so run of the mill. You don't have anything out of the ordinary. But it also means that you don't really have business assets. If you're doing something that everyone else is doing, then you are missing out on what a brand is a protectable asset. My frameworks that are unique are protected. I've invested quite a bit of money on protecting my assets. And I have no problem standing up to people saying, hey, thank you for sharing that and amplifying that, but I noticed you didn't credit me. That's a protected asset. Would you mind sharing it again and crediting me or taking it down altogether? Because I appreciate that you like it and that you value it, but I'm not going to let you just take stuff from me, right? I don't tell them that part, but you know what I mean? I wouldn't let anyone walk into my house and just take stuff. No, right? I protect my property. Your intellectual property is property as well, but you have to do what you need to do to protect it. I think I'm going to have, someone on to discuss that, but we do need to begin to think about that. So don't get mad at copying. Understand how to deal with competition In fact, how to fly above competition and protect what needs to be protected. That's all I wanted to tell you. God bless you. Be well.